Yeah, so Ghanaian influencer Hajia4real is currently trending in United States of America, United Kingdom, and also social media app Twitter for her alleged role in a romance scheme, and she has actually been extradited from the United Kingdom to the United States of America. Yeah, guys, so welcome back to another episode of the Entertainment 360 Show with me, that AJ. As always, if you're new here, haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button below, and also click on the bell icon right next to the subscribe button, so anytime I drop a new content on the channel, you will be the first to be notified. Yeah, so let's zoom straight to the story for today. Yeah, so Hajia4real is currently trending on social media and has to do with her alleged role in a romance scheme. Yeah, so for those of you who have been following social media, you realize that at a point in time where you have been following, the entertainment news in Ghana, you realize that at a point in time, Hajia4real was trending for her alleged arrest in the UK, and she was actually arrested in the month of November 2022 after she actually arrived in the UK. And people, when the news came, a lot of people did not believe it. Some people were saying that it was one of those fake story by bloggers and all that. And even at a point in time, Hajia4real's management had to come out, debunking rumors that she had been arrested for an alleged fraud or an alleged scam. But today is the day that the truth has actually prevailed, that we are going to get the details of what actually transpired when Hajia4real was arrested, or her alleged arrest in the UK. And as I said earlier, she's actually been extradited from the UK to the US. And a press release actually released on justice.gov, which had all the details of Hajia4real's arrest and also extraditement from the UK to the US. And it entails a lot. In some, it has to do with the fact that Hajia4real was alleged in multiple scams, multiple fraudulent acts, which actually amounted to $2 million. And as I said earlier, it's a detailed press release. I'm going to read the details of the press release. Then you guys will be the judge by dropping your thoughts, opinion, and comments in the comment section below. Yeah, so the press release read or reads: prominent Ghanaian influencer charged for role in romance scheme and extradited from United Kingdom to the United States. Yeah, so Mona Affairs Montrage received over $2 million in fraud proceeds and pretended to marry one victim to further the fraud scheme. Yeah, so Damian Williams, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and Michael J. Driscoll, the Assistant Director in charge of the New York Field Office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, announced the unsealing of a 6-count indictment charging Mona Affairs Montrage for her role in a series of romance schemes and for laundering the proceeds of those schemes. Montrage's Hajia4real was arrested in the United Kingdom on November 10, 2022, and was extradited from the United Kingdom on May 12, 2023. Montrage will be present before U.S. District Judge Paul A. Croney, to whom the case is assigned later today. Yeah, so the press release further read or reads: U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said, as alleged, Mona Affairs Montrage was a member of a criminal conspiracy that specifically targeted older Americans through romance scams. These scams can both financially and emotionally devastating for vulnerable victims. Thanks to the effort of our law enforcement partners, Montrage was arrested abroad and has been brought to the United States to face justice. Yeah, so this is it. So let me read further. FBI Assistant Director in charge Michael J. Driscoll said, we allege today that Ms. Montrage participated in multiple romance scams, often targeting elderly victims, resulting in more than $2 million in fraudulent funds under her control. Romance scams, especially those that target older individuals, are of major concern. The FBI will tirelessly in our efforts to hold fraudsters accountable in the criminal justice system. As alleged in the indictment and other publicly filed materials, from at least in or about 2013 through in or about 2019, Montrage was a member of a criminal enterprise, i.e. the enterprise, based in West Africa that committed a series of frauds against individuals and businesses in the United States, including romance scams. Many of the enterprise romance scams victims were vulnerable, older men and women who lived alone. The enterprise frequently conducted the romance scam by sending the victims emails, text messages, and social media messages that deceived the victims into believing that they were in romantic relationships with a person who had in fact a fake identity assumed by members of the enterprise. Once members of the enterprise had successfully convinced victims that they were in a romantic relationship and had gained their trust, they convinced the victims under false pretenses to transfer money to bank accounts, and victims believed they were controlled by their romantic interests when in fact the bank accounts were controlled by members of the enterprise. Montrage is a Ghanaian public figure who rose to fame as an influencer through her Instagram profile under the username Hajia4real, which at one point had approximately 3.4 million Instagram followers and was among the top 10 profiles with the most followers in Ghana. Montrage received money from several victims of romance frauds whom members of the enterprise tricked into sending money. Amongst the false pretenses used to induce victims to send money to Montrage were payments to transport gold to the United States from overseas, payment to resolve a fake FBI unemployment investigation, and 3. Payments to assist a fake United States Army officer in receiving funds from Afghanistan. As to one victim, Montrage used her real name and spoke to the victim several times by phone. Montrage sent the victim a tribal marriage certificate purporting to show that Montrage and the victim had been married in Ghana. The victim sent Montrage approximately 82 wire transfers, totally approximately $89,000, to purportedly help with costs associated with Montrage's father's farm in Ghana. In total, Montrage controlled bank accounts received over $2 million in fraudulent funds from the enterprise. Montrage, 30, of Accra, Ghana, is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 1 count of wire fraud, 1 count of money laundering conspiracy, and 1 count of money laundering, each of which carry a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Montrage is also charged with 1 count of receipt of stolen money, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison, and 1 count of conspiracy to receive stolen money, which carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. The maximum potential sentences are prescribed by Congress and are provided here for informational purposes only, as any sentences of Montrage will be determined by a judge. Mr. Williams praised the outstanding work of the FBI. Mr. Williams also thanked the United States Marshal Services, the National Extradition Unit, United States Customs and Border Protection, and the FBI Legal Attaché in London for their assistance in the investigation. The U.S. Department of Justice Office of International Affairs of the Department's Criminal Division provided significant assistance in securing the defendant's extradition from the United Kingdom. The case is being prosecuted by the Office Complex Frauds and Cybercrime Unit. Assistant U.S. Attorneys Mitzi Steiner and Kevin Mead are in charge of the prosecution. The charges contained in this indictment are merely accusations, and the defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. As the introductory phrase signifies, the entirety of the text of the indictment and the description of the indictment set forth herein constitute only allegations, and every fact prescribed should be treated as an allegation.